The most powerful tool that you have is your imagination. There is so much that I spent money on, hundreds of thousands of dollars on different trainings, different skill sets, things like that, that when it all came down to it, it all led to the same ending, the same goal. And that is your mind, what you believe, is reflected into reality. It's not necessarily going to happen immediately, but what you believe and what you see from the first person actually happens. I had joined this group, which I've talked about in past videos, called the Wake Up Warrior. And I want to say it was maybe 2018, 2017, maybe at the earliest. And essentially, it's a group of men who are striving to be the best in all things business, their body, their spirituality, things like that. Well, the leader of this group is a multi-millionaire. He lives in a beachfront Dana Point property worth millions and millions and millions of dollars. He speaks at Funnel Hacking Live with Russell Brunson. I think it was like the third or fourth year he's been doing that, maybe fifth, next to Tony Robbins and other big name people. And so when I joined his group, which is really, that when I joined, I was way down here. There was no chance in heck that I would actually meet him and talk with him, let alone become friends. Here you have multi-million dollar founder who has all these different tiers in this course or his in this group, where the higher you go, obviously the more money it's going to cost, and the higher level people there are going to be up there. And here I am, at least at the time, I'm at the lowest level. I think the course was like $100 or something like that, and I was taking part in that. Well, I don't know how it started happening, but part of the whole philosophy of this group was that you meditated for 10 minutes a day or 20 minutes, whatever you can go to. And I hated meditating, absolutely hated it. It was a struggle every single time. And I started imagining myself as friends with Garrett White, who is the founder. I started imagining myself shaking his hand, giving him a hug, talking about different things, and really feeling into it. Really feeling what it would be like to be buddies, right? And that was something that was extremely far off. That would never happen. My business at the time, I was doing very well with Amazon, but when someone says, which I say, I did $2 to $3 million a year on Amazon, that's revenue. When you hear people say I make millions and millions of dollars, that doesn't necessarily mean that they pocket that money. Revenue wise, any drop shipping business that you see, anytime you see somebody drop shipping or selling something, you're looking at anywhere between 10% to maybe max 35% profit margin off of that. So off of $1 million, if someone has a 35% profit margin, they're making $350,000, right? So my profit margin was decent, but it wasn't at the level that it would need to be to be friends with Garrett and to be in that circle, right? So it was a far off shot. That was not going to happen. But every so often, it wasn't even that much. Like I was focusing on it, like I really wanted it to happen. I really needed it to happen. I would just start thinking about it and seeing what it would feel like, and I knew that by visualizing and doing that, that there was a possibility that it would happen. Well, it's happened a lot in my life in ways that I never expected. So this was one of them. Over time, I ended up doing what was that called? The Warrior Week, where you go for a week and you get beat up, and it's like a boot camp, but you go into these so many different emotional things as a man, and it's hard. It sucks. It's crazy. It's pretty amazing, actually. The Then I went from that to, I'd kind of dropped off for a while, and then I came back to one of his Warrior challenges, which was another cheap thing. Then COVID happened, and my business skyrocketed. My business went off the charts, which was awesome. And after about 2 years, 2 years, yeah, 2 years, Garrett started this thing called the King's Council. And I got on the phone with him, or got on Zoom with him, and he invited me to be a part of it. I want to say it was $5,000, $7,000 a month, something like that. Well, I could afford that. That was not a big deal for me. The previous years, there was no way that was happening ever, right? Like pre 2020. I mean, I could have probably pulled it off, but it would have been hard. It would have been hard. And so I get on Zoom, he invites me. It was a no-brainer. I literally said, "Shut up and take my money." We had talked for an hour on there, and I was like, I can't believe this is happening. So the King's Council thing starts, and every month I got to hang out with Garrett. And month after month, got to know each other and know each other and know each other, to where now we're friends. To where now it's like, I honestly can't believe that we are friends, just like I had imagined. And that is the power of your imagination. That's how I got my house where I live. That's how I got the amount of money that I make right now. Everything is controlled by your imagination. Your imagination is not just some figment. The more that you, in the first person, claim what's yours, even if you don't have it now, you claim what you want, you'll start to see the fruits of it develop. You'll start to see things work around you to where it actually happens. And I've seen it time and time and time again, too many times to say it was just a coincidence. And I'll share other stories about this, but what is your dream? What do you want out of life? Where do you want things to go in your financial and your personal relationships, in all of those things? Because you have the power to make that happen by imagining it now, that you have it now, and imagining yourself in that spot, not watching yourself, actually in the first person, feeling what it would be like when you have all of those things, and it will come to fruition. The external is just a reflection of everything that you've ever imagined.